some of the stress comes because of what we're trying to escape. Like we want to be something. We want to, like in our business particularly, you get a lot of people who want to be somebody. You know, they want to be an actor, or a writer, or a producer, or an editor, or an animator. And a lot of that is to feel good about themselves. But usually, I'm no psychiatrist, but I deal with people all the time, particularly in our business, is usually the outside things can't solve the inside problems. You see it all the time in the trades here and in watching the Entertainment Tonights of the world. People who appear to have everything don't have anything, because the more they try to fill those voids inside with things from outside, the success actually makes it worse, because they start to realize that no matter how successful they are, it doesn't fix them. Some of them take the one-way trip out of life. Some abuse substances. A lot of them are self-destructive, because it's a feeling of desperation. If I want to fix myself and I've decided that to be X, fill in the blank, and I get to be X and I still feel crappy about myself, then it's pretty frustrating, because I don't, now what do I do next? So things like, a lot of worry and a lot of stress and wanting to, quote, be somebody, there's nothing wrong with that. It's what is the reason? What is your reason or my reason? I've been through this, and I've got clients that have been through it, that have had a lot of success. I've had people who have won the Oscars and like Chris Do, the Emmys, and all these things. If they're doing it for the right reason, it's wonderful. But if they're doing it for the wrong reason, it can create a lot of frustration in them, because they wake up. I remember when I came here, I was doing some writing, and my partner and I optioned a screenplay. It was like a big deal. And, that's why I had come here, and I'd paid a big price to come here. And I remember my life wasn't going particularly well at the time, sitting in the hot sun on a curb out in Burbank thinking, I still feel bad. This didn't fix it. So, a lot of times stress is about, it's all self-generated, which is good news. The good news is it's self-generated. The bad news is it's self-generated. So when things happen, what I suggest to people is try to think of what is it you're really afraid of. I mean, if you don't get the new apartment or you don't get the right job, what is it that's really going to happen? I mean, and usually it's something old. Usually it's an old message. What's happening is you're getting an old message from the past, and it's hard to figure that out at first, because it comes from inside, and you've probably spent a whole lot of time trying not to think about that. Most of what underlies things like stress and a lot of behaviors that we're trying to get rid of is some sort of fear. Okay, that's just what it is, and if you can identify that or sort of come to grips with that a little bit, the more you can come to grips with it, the less power it has. Because, if you don't move out of apartment A into apartment B and you have a job here, the reality is you're probably not moving back in with mom and dad. So sometimes it's helpful to look at, as an interim, getting in touch with what you're afraid of is not easy. But one of the things is to write down what's the worst thing that happens. And sometimes when you make things more concrete, they lose a little bit of their power. It's sort of like the little kid who's afraid there's somebody in the closet or under the bed. If you go look in the closet and there's no one there, or you turn the light on in the closet, then the fear goes away. So part of it's just understanding what's happening. In the moment, it's hard. But if you can get a little distance between the feeling and thinking about it, then you can begin to solve it. A lot of artists that are successful, they just do it. They don't think a lot about it. They don't have the anxiety of failure. It doesn't occur to them. Like Chris Do is one of those people. It doesn't occur to him that he can fail. So he doesn't overthink things. And I've had an opportunity to work with some pretty successful owners and artists and creatives over the time, and it just doesn't occur to them. Where most of us, and I would put myself in the most of us, we're trying, well, what are people going to think? What does the other guy do? What does the other gal do? What should I be doing? I should be doing what they're doing because they're saying. When we can put ourselves through a lifetime of that and then never do anything. The best way to do what I advise to people, and people have advised me, is just do it. Because it's only in doing it that you figure it out. If not, I mean, fear keeps many, many people paralyzed. And they never really get what they want, and they never do what they want. It's fear. So stress and feel like you could be the best editor, animator in the world, and whatever your internal issues are, it's not going to fix them. You may have them unfixed in a bigger house and drive a nicer car and eat in better restaurants, but what's the old thing? No matter where you go, when you look in the mirror, there you are.